Cassidy! It's been too long. I think almost 10 years or so now since the last time the both of us chatted. What? Miley? All right, this is exactly how I expected you to react, LOL. It's great to see that you're feeling the same way about me even after these past 10 years, LOL. Hateful and rude, LOL. And by the way, I hear you're still single, right? LOL. Who told you something like that? Samuel did. Huh? A little while ago, Samuel was back around you guys for work for about a week. And just out of curiosity, he wanted to see how Mom and Dad's place was doing, so he passed by it in his car. And he noticed that you're still living with them after seeing you through the dining room window. I don't think by seeing me over at Mom and Dad's house, that's a good way to judge if I'm single or not right now. Oh, come on now. If you're still living with your parents at the age you are now, then you can't be anything besides single, right? LOL. But I get it. You still feel safe being over at their house and can be there to take care of them, so don't worry. LOL. Why would you care about how I feel after you left the house so long ago and never talked to any of us? You ran off without ever talking to us for a whole decade after you stole my fiancé, Samuel, from me and said he'd become your husband. I'm actually having a hard time still believing this is actually that same Miley talking to me now. Do you expect to return to Mom and Dad's house now or something? That's right. And if you think I don't have a place with you guys there anymore, then make a place for me, LOL. Make a place for you? I'm going to be moving back in with you all whether you want me to or not, Cassidy. Seriously? It's been 10 years now since I've been able to see my parents, and so Samuel and I are moving in with them. And you're to leave, LOL. You're actually serious about coming back to this house? That's what I'm saying, right? Even if you were to try and move back in with Mom and Dad, there's really no place for you or Samuel to stay since this place is fully booked now. And I told you, if there's no place for me, then make one. And a place for my husband, too. You are just in the way now, Cassidy, LOL. So get out of there, LOL. That'll free up your room, and although it's small and narrow, my husband and I will feel all cozy. Huh? Why do I have to be the one to leave this house? Cassidy, I'm aware that you're still in love with Samuel, right? But he's my husband now, and there's no chance for you to ever get back with him. And it's nothing against you as my little sister, but having someone living in the same house as my husband that still loves him is a bit... I don't have to say how I feel about it, right? You can see what I'm getting at, LOL. Don't tell me you've come this far and still have no idea what's going on here. What's going on with me and my life? What do you mean, LOL? I don't want to keep this hidden from you any longer because it'll only make things worse between us. So, I'll tell you. I'm married now, Miley. Huh? And as for this house, Mom and Dad's house, I'm living here with my husband and plan to have my family stay in this house for a long time. Huh? What about Mom and Dad then? They aren't actually here anymore. Then where did those two run off to? What are they doing leaving their massive house like that? I have an idea of where they went off to, but they don't want to meet you, so I can't say exactly where their address is. Come on, LOL. Listen, Cassidy, if you're going to lie to me, do a better job of it and give some more details besides just that. If you're being asked where your parents have run off to, don't just say that they don't want to meet me and that you don't know, LOL. That's a total lie. Those two had some things come up in their lives and had to leave the house 9 years ago, and they left me to have this place. Huh? If you want to know the reason for them leaving back then, I'll tell you. But what will you do with that information after? Your lying is so bad, LOL. I know that Mom and Dad will be so happy to have me home since they loved me way more than they ever loved you when we were kids, LOL. I told you that they are no longer in this house. Well, I know that they want to see me there. Samuel and I plan to come next Sunday with all our things and move into that house. And before then, you need to have yourself and all your things out of there. See ya! LOL.
Hey, Cassidy. I believe that yesterday you heard from my lovely wife already, right? But next Sunday we'll be moving into that house to start living with your mum and dad. So you hurry things up and get out there as soon as possible.
Ugh. This time I have to talk to the pile of crap Samuel.
What do you mean, pile of crap?
You took the hand of my sister when you were already engaged to me, and then you both ran away from everyone for 10 years. And after 10 years, you're finally talking again, but only to say that you're going to move into this house without a single okay from anyone? No matter how you think of that, it makes you both piles of crap.
What the heck? Oh, that's what this is.
What?
Well, don't get too jealous about all of this, okay?
What are you talking about?
Over the past 10 years, you've never stopped thinking about me, right?
Huh?
And the proof I have for that is that you're still single at your age. And you're still living with your parents, even. So, no matter how you want me to think about it, the proof shows that you're still a single woman. And I think the reason for that is you've never stopped thinking about me and moved on, because you think you have a chance of getting me back. Huh?
Did my sister-in-law never tell you that I'm married now? I told her that yesterday when she was texting me. Right now, I'm living with my husband here in my mom and dad's house. And my parents actually left this house 9 years ago.
What is up with that?
I asked my sister if she wanted to know the reason for them both leaving, but she never said for me to tell her, and so I'm not going to say anything to you. But just know that if both of you suddenly show up thinking you can live here, it's not going to happen. Goodbye.
Is that so? And there's no way I'm believing a bit of those weak lies you just told me, Cassidy. Oh, you really do want to get back together with me, don't you? Oh, it's actually terrifying that you still love me, even though it's been 10 whole years of us never talking. I'm not going to come back to you, though, so get out of that house.
What the hell, Cassidy? What the actual hell is this? It's you again, Miley? What? There's this huge man standing in the front door and he's not letting us inside the house. Are you saying that you really showed up to my house? I am! Dang, you really have tried to move in without my permission. What the hell is it with this dumb-looking man? He's my husband. Huh? He has a lot of muscles on him, doesn't he? He works for a quarry company, and so he works a lot of 12-hour shifts, driving heavy machinery and moving lots of stone. You're still going to use that lie with me? I'm sure that he's just some gorilla that you paid to come here and protect the front door, right? I told him that you and your husband were thinking of forcing your way back into our house and living there, so we took today off to stay home and wait. Huh? Are you actually telling me that he lives here too? I am. When Mom and Dad left the house 9 years ago, they actually put my name on the house. And then 5 years ago, we did some interior changes and reformations to the house, and my husband was putting in a lot of his money for it, so we changed the name on the house from mine to his. That is another one of your BS lies! If you took a look at the nameplate on our front door, I think you'd understand me a lot quicker. Huh? Nameplate? I know that the moment my husband stepped out the front door, you both ran off, but he told me you took a photo of the house before. The nameplate should be visible in that photo, right? Oh, crap. The name is different now. And also, the whole front of the house looks a bit different than it did 10 years ago. There's another part of the house we decided to have remodeled in the Reformation. We thought that since we'd be changing the nameplate after our wedding, it'd be best to get a breath of fresh air by making the front door and porch brand new. This is bullcrap! It's actually upsetting that you still believe this all to be a lie, even after seeing that everything I've explained to you has so far been true. And another thing, I have kids now. Huh? We were expecting you to show up today, so my husband and I had his parents take our kids for the day to keep them away from the house. in case anything bad were to happen to you both. Well, Samuel is telling me he never saw your husband or kids when he drove by. Right. You did say that when he came back into town for work a little while back. He was able to see that I was here. But if that was on a weekday, then my husband was probably at work and my kids were at school. And I work remotely for my job, and so I'm always around the house unless I have plans with friends or need to go shopping. He did say that it was on a Thursday back then. Then all he saw was me home at the house while the rest of my family was out doing what they always do. LOL. Out doing what they always do.
Hey,
And now we're back to you, I see.
are you really trying to say this house is your husband's house now?
Were you looking at my sister's phone while she was texting me then?
I saw all the crap you were saying, that's why I'm talking with you now. What the actual frick? I just realized that the name on that nameplate is the same as my mum's last name. I get it now. Your husband happens to be my cousin, I think.
It's about time this all got around to you. LOL.
10 years ago, that guy was just a loser that never left my aunt and uncle's house besides to go to the gym. Why? His face and such are similar to how he looked back then, but the rest of him is completely different now.
I never knew the man that you're talking about, but from what I've heard from some of his friends, he really did his best. I guess for a while he was talking to his parents about what he wanted to do with his life, and since he had started going to the gym, his dad said he could get him a job that would build even more muscle on him. And so that's how he got the job at the quarry, and I guess really changed his appearance.
For that frickin' quarry.
Do you know of it?
That's the place people that get out of jail go when they're released to find a job.
Ah, and that's what I've been told as well. I've heard that the owner of the place is really popular for taking those that are misplaced in society, or don't take life seriously, and works them into shape so that they know who they really are. Almost like a training camp for adults that need help getting back into society. And that's what my husband was given when he started working there. He said at first there were days where he went home crying because the work was so hard. But after getting used to the grind there, and his body growing bigger, he was able to work the 12-hour shifts like they're nothing, and is now able to have a wonderful life with me as his wife.
What the hell? I never expected a guy like him to start working for that quarry.
And he's moved up to being a manager for the company now.
What?
And about that, I've heard that pretty recently you were fired from the company you'd been working for. There has been talk around my husband's work about you and what happened when you got fired. Apparently, you and my sister have been living in company housing, but are being kicked out, and that's why you are trying to force yourselves back into my life. And I guess my sister still thinks that my mom and dad actually want her back, and so she's using that false hope of hers to bring you guys here. And now you're around my house somewhere, thinking that my mom and dad would welcome you in. I'd assume that's how it all went down for you and my sister, right?
You know about all of that stuff too.
What the heck, Cassidy? Your husband just drove up to my husband and I in an all blacked out SUV. And he just took my husband in it and drove off. Yeah, my husband already told me about what he's going to do. You guys have been trying to hide in that park nearby my house, right? I want to know what the hell your husband is doing with mine. Well, my husband knows, the CEO of the company that Samuel was fired from, and he knows him well enough to understand Samuel's situation. And after he spoke with that CEO for a while about Samuel and the past he had with me and all of that, we decided to talk with Samuel's parents about what to do with you guys. And they agreed that my husband is to take you both to go work out in the quarries for him. And it'll be some very back-breaking work. Huh? Well, after his parents heard about how you guys were trying to barge into living in my house, they said you both needed to be put to work. And so you're going to end up the same way Mom and Dad did, working in the quarry and learning the hard way how to live in this society. Huh? Mom and Dad? They are both working for the company that runs the quarry. Excuse me? I told you a week ago or so that Mom and Dad left this house 9 years ago, right? Well, to tell you the truth about what happened 9 years ago, Mom and Dad were so upset about how you ran away with my fiancé, but they weren't upset at you for doing that, but me. They loved you so much that they blamed me over and over again for letting you run off with Samuel, and even went as far as to push me down the stairs. And just when I thought it was over for me, Grandpa was in the house and saw what had happened and had me taken to the hospital to be treated. And as for Mom and Dad, well, he sent both of them to go work at that quarry because it used to be run by Grandpa and he had the power to get them employed there. So that's what happened after I left? And I think that those two are still at one of the quarries, working for 12 hours a day, doing very intense labor that people their age shouldn't really do anymore. But according to my husband, they still don't blame you for what happened and are even more upset with me now that they have to work there because of what Grandpa saw. What the heck? And another thing, the person that came and picked them up from Grandpa and drove them to the quarry site was none other than my husband. He somehow heard about how I'd be alone after getting out of the hospital, and after some time, he came to me, and that led to where we are now. I don't care about what's happened with you or Mom or Dad right now, okay? Is working for that quarry company going to be scary? Well, you have to put in a lot of manual labor there. LOL. What? When you start working there, you'll understand what I mean. Are you just going to let them have me? Well, normally I wouldn't ask for my own sister to have to go and work there, but... Then come and help me! Come and help you, huh? I actually do want to help you and Samuel, and that's why my husband and I are planning to have you both go work in the quarry. Huh? Do your best, okay? Hold on! It seems that this time, my husband did not go easy on my sister and Samuel, and brought along 5 other men from the company to come bring them along. The idea for them having to work for the quarry is that if they choose not to, they will most likely never be able to find another job besides that. Right now, Samuel has little chance of being hired by anyone else in the area due to the very embarrassing news of how he was fired, and my sister is not the kind of girl that'll work a job unless under very strict measures, which will be enforced at the quarry. And it seems for the next little while, those two will not be allowed to use their smartphones while on the job site, which is pretty much all the time since the job rotation there for manual workers is every 2 months, and you live on site. I think after those two ran away 10 years ago and never seemed to do well with the world they were living in, it'll be a good refresher for them to get back to basics, working long shifts under the hot sun while moving some rocks. And hopefully that, while being surrounded by some of society's lowest, will help them become a bit better people, like it had done to my husband. I'm sure that they will start complaining every day about how their muscles will begin to hurt, and that they want to go home, but that's all part of working for that next paycheck, LOL. I really do hope that this teaches them a huge lesson about how they should have never been the pile of crap people that they were, and that they really should try not to cause problems for other people. However, in their case, and especially my sister's case alone, I think they're going to end up just like my parents and will never actually change into better people through all that hard labor. That won't really bother me either way, because if they want to keep acting like monsters, then they can all work there until the day they all fall over. But anyway, that's enough about them both. For the work that my husband put in today, I'm going to make sure to cook him up a hefty steak dinner tonight as a reward. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.